have to ask you, I've been wondering about this, which is, with your background, with the story we started the conversation with you in college, and with your the illness that you're facing. What do you know now? What is a lesson or a thing you value and now that you just could not have or did not know as an early adult? Like, because you go through these experiences with those of the people you worked with who were suicidal, and leaders, and your own mortality, and all these things, and learn through that experience. And there's so many listening right now that want to know all of that without having to earn it the hard way. And so I'm asking for the cheat code. What do you know now that you couldn't have or didn't know then?
How important it is to just listen.
Hmm.
I had 8 mentors. The last one was Larry King. I'd go to breakfast with him, with this quirky group of people, for a couple of years prior to the pandemic, and he was incredibly curious. People loved to be on his show because he never hit people with a gotcha,
Mm-hmm.
and he was just curious about everything. And he had opinions, and he would voice them at breakfast and all that. And I had another mentor. You probably don't know the name. A fellow named Warren Bennis. Warren Bennis was kind of to leadership what Steve Jobs was to personal computers.
Hmm.
I mean, if you look up Warren Bennis, he was like, one of the top 5 people. He mentored Howard Schultz, David Gergen, Tom Peters. He was, I think, one of the founders of the Kennedy School of Public Leadership or something. And I love to collect quotes. And one of my favorite Warren quote is, "Boredom occurs when we fail to make the other person interesting."
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. I can't even tell you how good that is. For this, I mean, I'll probably edit this out of the podcast, but um, I find people fascinating, so I do the show, right? Almost everyone. And I learned it from my mom. And my mom has this really amazing superpower. She's got a ton of friends, a ton of people who, uh, you know, who will share with her and confide in her. And I've seen since I was a child, the reason is she genuinely, when she goes up to somebody, she assumes they're one of the most interesting people in the world. It's without fail. So she'll come back. She'll be like, Chris, I met this guy. I met this woman, whatever. Doesn't matter. And then she'll start telling me about this person. Right. And they do this and they do this and they do this. And it's just ever since I can remember, and anybody who knows her, like, that is going to happen in a conversation. And so I didn't realize that until this podcast that I had adopted that from her. And I also didn't realize that that wasn't normal. Like, so people would say to me random things like, well, you know, something like, why do you want to talk to all these people? Or how can you care? What? And I always just thought that's insane. I'm like, but how do you not? Like, if you pull on anybody's experience and you can't be amazed, it's your fault. It's not theirs. So I love that quote. It perfectly sums up my belief, which is really cool.